Here, she talked to a man and she swears she was perfect. She was trying to look her best. She tried to be empathetic. She was working with her traumas, with her psychologist, not to bother him. She was trying to be supportive. She was trying to show how much he means to her. He seemed to like her. They had fun, but then suddenly he starts pulling away. Or he straight up ghosted her. And that's a pattern. Sooner or later, it happens to all of the men she chooses. Now, the situation is more common than you think, and the reasons why it happens are usually the same. Before we begin, let's try and break down the tendency inherent to a good part of women at the very first stages of their relationships. That's the effort you put to be perfect in order to be loved or to be appreciated. To be exact, I want you to think about why you shouldn't try. And look, the focus here isn't on being perfect itself, but on the effort, the strive to be perfect. When a person just strives, when a woman just tries to be perfect, whatever that means, it is the moment when she does something to herself, meaning she chooses a certain behavior, does something with her appearance, takes certain steps towards the man to be perfect for him. Now, perfect for what? This moment is very important. Perfect for what? So that he likes her? Or perfect so that he falls at her feet? There's a huge difference between these motives. Trying to make him like her or to make him want to go after her, follow her direction. For illustration, imagine the following. A woman manages people at work. She's a team leader, all right? Or a manager, if you like. How should she act so that the people she manages like her? She should be lenient, not too rigid, should allow her employees to be late, allow them to make mistakes and excuse them after all, allow them to take the paycheck, then disappear for a couple weeks. Long story short, make them as comfortable as possible. Not all of her employees will abuse such comforts. There are people with certain ethical standards who will show results without the essential supervision and possible sanctions. Yet it will affect the other people within the team who do need the push and the boundaries which the supervisor sets up for the efficiency of their work. So what should she be like? Should she be a manager who is liked and considered perfect, or a manager who gets results from the employees? Delivering profit for the company, creating the value. What's the goal, the motive? To be liked by them or make them put their effort. What does it mean to be a perfect manager? First and foremost, that is someone who delivers results. Maybe at times the employees are scared, sometimes they're unhappy, sometimes they hate her, but all of this time they do respect her. A supervisor who is not respected by the team will never deliver results. Now, we dive too deep, this is not our field of expertise. Though it's important to understand the parallel, the analogy. What does a woman want to achieve trying to be perfect in a relationship? Perfect in what sense? In a sense of pleasing a man. Where she's great, she made dinner, sits straight, exercises empathy, listening to whatever he says, doesn't complain, and satisfies him sexually on top of that. Expecting that the man after that will turn to her and say, "Oh my God, you're the best woman, marry me maybe." Sometimes women think that the better they please, the faster men will fall at their feet. Well, there's no such cases that would correspond to this logic in relationships between men and women. There is no such sequence where the more you please, the faster they will fall in love and go after you. There are no such cases in managing where the more you allow the employees to be chill and cozy and do nothing, the more they will respect you. That's not how it works. On the contrary, the more relaxed they are in a relationship with you, the less effort they will want to put in you and your common well-being. And it's not that you have to be a tyrant and abuse your man to get their respect. There is no such sequence either. We're talking about the balance you keep as in your relationship to make it the space where both of you are loved and respected. This we'll discuss in more depth on the program itself, and we'll take more videos about that in the future, in the near future. Managing this balance is one of the basic skills that you need to make a man genuinely in love with you, in love for good, for your whole life, if you will, to keep the relationship stable. It's not about an emotional impulse a man has for a woman a week before he ghosts her or doubts her. The topic of balance takes more time to understand. We're not discussing it in this video. Those of you who are on the program, take a closer look at this particular topic. It's day 9, lecture 5. And the day 10th review lecture, if I'm not mistaken. And don't ever hesitate to get back to the material if you feel the need for it. Even if you've completed all 20 days, even if you did the practice, you can still get back to the topic. Practice and repetition makes perfect. Now, back to the topic of striving within a relationship, trying to be perfect. As you might have guessed, perfect not in the sense of pleasing the man, not in the sense of being comfortable for him, but being perfect in the sense of being able to get the results that you want, to have the man putting effort in the relationship, to make him go after you. This is something a woman has to be able to do. And there are women who can do it. Some of you could see women do it intuitively. HVU girls do it. Thousands of our girls do it in their relationship with any kind of man, no matter what the man's social status is, no matter how manipulative and bad those men are, no matter how old, rich, popular, or successful they are. Girls apply those same tools on them every day, and they get their, all these men go after them, and they do love them, and they want to be with them, and they do commit. That's a real and a million times proved approach. That's when you focus not on being perfect in the sense of pleasing, but being perfect in the sense of your assertiveness, where you don't have to please them to deserve their love. But that's when you can influence them to have all of this love and passion for you. Influence. Now, let's take a look at this from a different angle. Striving to be perfect for what? To get the man's positive assessments, to get his approval, like, oh, look at you. You've been working out. Good girl. That's a nice ass. Come to me, girl. Let me pat you. What a good girl. Come on my lap. I'm exaggerating so that you understand. When you're thinking or saying something like, oh yes, he likes it when my stomach flat and my nipples perky. Yes, when you've got that nice fit butt, perky nipples, and flat stomach, they will want to take you out for a drink or smoke. They will be all excited looking at you, assessing your attributes. They will tell you you're a good, sexy girl with a nice piece of ass. But what then? Then they have sex and dump the girl. And there she wonders, but he said I've got a nice ass and my smile is pretty. Yes, a nice fit body does excite men physically. They want to have sex with this body. But that's it. There's nothing more to it. A man doesn't need to commit or get married to a nice body to have sex with it. He can just talk to it for a while and have access to it. Even if he was desperate enough to marry it, he can divorce it anytime he wants. What exactly are we talking about? We're talking about your relationship not being able to sustain on the grounds of a nice ass and a pretty smile. It means that one day he can wake up with a sudden realization that he's got his portion of excitement from this particular body, but he is not ready to give up on all of the other women out there who he can also get access to. He wants to touch them too. Or he just wants to be free of responsibilities. He doesn't want to invest in her anymore. He doesn't want to spend his time, his money, his life, just because he once found her body appealing. He's tried it many times. That's not fun anymore. That's it. And here we see the decline of the relationship, the distance, the ghosting, the breakup, the divorce. Therefore, this strive for perfect, to be perfect in order to get a positive assessment, in order to get some patting from a man, is a low position within this relationship. Position of a need. A mindset of a woman in a need. A woman inevitably falls staying in this position. Being perfect, trying to be perfect for him, striving, whatever it means for you, whether it's you working out to get the man's approval, dieting, applying tons of makeup, set up special preparations to look good for the man, or being smart, wise, being the high value woman, being a businesswoman to get the positive assessments. Whatever it is you're doing to seem perfect for them, whenever you're striving to be perfect for them, you already lost it. It's a dead end. Game over. You're in a low position of a need. You're being the effect of a cause. Yes, any woman, any person wants approval. Everyone wants to get good feedback from people around them. But when the person is in a position of a need, the moment he or she gets a negative feedback from someone, they get all sad and depressed. Because she, for example, expected some enthusiasm or a lot of admiration because maybe she did something good to a person and there she expected something good back. Here, this expectation moment, an expecting position, that's when a person willingly puts herself into a vulnerability. Because objectively, the expectation doesn't guarantee anything you might be expecting. Some people will consciously respond negatively. Some people will unwillingly hurt you. They genuinely might think there is nothing bad with them not giving you a call back. They genuinely think it's okay to cease the contact with you for some time. And if you've expected this call back, or you expected some communication the person wasn't willing to give you, you then put yourself in a position where this can hurt you. You expect it. And here you face all of this heartbreak, pain, and anxiety. When you're not expecting, when you don't need, it's about you attracting things, influencing them. Here you don't have any pain, you don't get disappointed, you don't have to worry anymore. You're not expecting. For illustration, it's like a mother who loves her child, and therefore this love, she expects him to act in a certain way. In this case scenario, she will get hurt. She will undergo lots of pain and disappointments. Yes, when this mother just loves the child, and it's always directed outwards, she just loves him. And there he is acting in a certain way, she can suggest him something regarding his act. She can educate him. Sometimes she's tough on him, sometimes she's soft, but all of these directed outwards, it's external. She doesn't seek to take something. She's not expecting. She doesn't need. She gives outwards. In this case scenario, she won't have any pain or problems. She doesn't expect anything. She doesn't need it. And exactly in this case scenario, the likelihood of her getting that love is increasing. Not because she needs it, but because he will have those feelings for her. She doesn't expect or demand it. She's just influencing it. It's directed outwards, externally. She directs, she educates, she gives care, understanding. And there's no pain for her. She's not hurt. I know to some of people this might be a hard thing to understand. The idea isn't easy. Sometimes it's needed to absorb and operate this understanding. But we shouldn't miss it out. It's a deep idea, a very important one that has to do with your emotional, mental state, your core views on life and relationship with others. Now, this was an example featuring the mother-child relationship. Similarly, it works in your relationship with man's world. It's about your internal attitude, the motives, and your overall perspective on the relationship with them. Our program, High Value Unlocked, is dedicated to the formation of these perspectives, dedicated to developing this state of mind, this internal attitude. We dive much deeper in these concepts and break down how and why it works. Eventually, our students all over the world get rid of this state of need, get out of the low position and expecting position, become much more confident in their communications. Most importantly, they're able to influence, direct their actions externally. They, instead of the effect, become the cause of events happening or not happening. The effect is when the person, the woman, is constantly undergoing through whatever is thrown at her. She's told she's a good, sexy girl. She's happy. Then they tell her she's an ugly, annoying rat. And this new dress doesn't fit her. She's all sad and occupied by negative assessment of her. On the other hand, when she's the cause, she gets some good feedback, compliment or something. She thinks, great, I can multiply it. She can multiply it. She can get more of it. She knows how to influence people this way. If she gets something negative again, she's fine with it. She knows how to turn this negative into positive. It doesn't touch her. If she got something negative, she knew she influenced that. She owns it, understand? She won't get all depressed in her pajamas and start eating junk food on her couch, whatever the feedback is. It doesn't touch her. That's the position of a cause. This is one of the important elements of the emotional state, of the internal attitude we're talking about, especially when it comes to the relationship with men. Getting back to the striving to be perfect within a relationship, the being perfect, we're talking about not in the sense of impressing some people to get their positive feedback. That's a weak, low position, entailing all of the hard feelings as sensibility, anger, depression, disappointment, and so on. That's a position of a need. It's the need mindset. It's about what do I do to get the love, the positive assessment. That's what this woman is thinking about. The idea, the mindset, in general, inevitably leads to the physical act. She doesn't only think out of the need, she also acts out of the need eventually. The act is what leads to the low significance within the relationship, where the woman gets used and ghosted, where the man gets distant, where they manipulate her, where she doesn't get the love she is desperately seeking. And that's how it works with any man she chooses out there. It's sort of a pattern that she faces in all of their relationship with men, eventually blaming it on them, not realizing she is the one responsible for what she gets from them. It doesn't matter who these men are, where they come from, what their social status is, what books they have read, what relationship coaching they took, they all give similar reactions on her. The men are different. Their reactions, their attitude is the same when they're with her. This is all the outcome of the behavior she keeps exercising. The same internal attitude leads to her low significance for them. No matter who that man she likes is, they eventually treat her disrespectfully, ghost her, distance from her. They don't need her. She's insignificant for them. They don't want to spend time with her. They don't want to be with her. And here is an important thing to understand. It's not because they're all evil abusers who want to cause pain willingly. They themselves don't realize why they're causing this pain. They don't realize why they're acting this way. That's a subconscious process that pushes them to act this way in response to her behavior. The idea of pleasing to get the love, the strive to get this love, is what leads to your low significance, the internal attitude, and consequently the behavior you perform. Now, the opposite attitude, the perspective we're cultivating, is the high significance behavior. To be exact, the AIS actions increase in significance and ADS actions decrease in significance. Those of you who are not on the program, take a note of that. We differentiate actions you perform in your communications. Those are AIS and ADS. They are the opposites, meaning they're not only the wrong actions, they're also the right actions you can perform, actions that will increase your significance. Now, back to the strive topic. It's important to understand and realize where the strive is coming from. You want it to be perfect in what sense? What's that you're trying to achieve adopting this kind of communication and what it actually leads to? Thus, for example, when you decide to start dieting or go to the gym to have beautiful fit body, it's important to realize your intent, the motive. You're not doing it because you want to get the approval and love, but because you know that people generally fall for these kind of attributes. You can influence them by means of good looks. You understand that people admire physical attractiveness. They're weak for it. Weak for a beautiful fit body and a glowing skin or any other things you do. Are you doing that so that you get the love and approval from them? Or because you know it puts a certain effect on people, because you're going to benefit from it in your communications? For example, a woman speaks several languages, 4 or 5, it doesn't matter. Or she plays some sports game very well. And there are people like, wow, so you speak 2 or 3 languages. That's very impressive. And there you don't start learning languages or playing piano because you want to get all of those impressions from people. And there you mention it expecting them to be impressed and give you respect. No, you are learning the languages or playing the piano because you like it for yourself. And when you do get the feedback where people are impressed, your position is, I know, I'm amazing. You're not expecting to impress them. You know it makes an effect. You know it by default. You don't need the confirmation. You just get it. You know that your hot body puts an effect on people. You know that your glowing skin does too. Or your profession and your achievements are impressive. You know that your education makes you cool. That is when you didn't do it to get the people comment positively. You know, you yourself know it's good and impressive and it does influence people. You're aware of the effect you put on them. You don't expect them saying that. This is the internal attitude. You act from this position. You know how you can influence others. You own it. When you wear a dress, you put up an outfit. You know it fits you. You know you look good. You don't need the positive assessment. You don't need people to say good things about it. You already know it looks amazing on you. For example, I'm using a new microphone here. I know this microphone is good. I know any specialist will say it's a good microphone. I know it makes the sound good. It's the objective reality. I don't need any positive feedback. I didn't get it to receive positive comments. Or we know the Rolex is a good watch brand. We don't need anyone to evaluate it positively. We don't need the approval of others to wear Rolex. We know it's impressive. That's why we like them. That's why everyone likes them. And this applies to everything. When you surround yourself by everything perfect, you work on your self-improvement to be perfect, you try to communicate in a perfect way, talk in a perfect way, look in a perfect way, so that when you pass by a group of men outside and then think, did they approve? Do they think I look good? Did I do everything right? Let me check my hair. That's a position of a little girl who wore her mom's high heels. It's palpable. It's in the air around her. She doesn't even need to say anything to make it clear to everyone she's in a deficit. She's seeking approval. She's in a need position. She's not a predator, not a threat. She's a victim. But when you surround yourself by the best, for you, for your own sake, you don't need the approval of those group of men outside. You know that if you didn't receive a positive reaction, that's because they got shy or because everyone here is as amazing as you are. And looking per se cannot bring you about extra reaction. Whether you received it or not, you don't care. You know you're impressive. You know that you can influence people, period. Therefore, you're striving for perfection, trying to be the best. Do it for yourself. When you do something, be that having a perfect body, perfect skin, perfect hair, perfect education, perfect expertise in something, you choose that because you like it. You are interested. You want to get better at that. And on top of that, you know it's influential. You know it puts an effect on people. It's like you choose pure diamonds instead of an imitation jewel. You know it's good. You know it's impressive. You know what effect it puts on people. You don't need others' approval to feel good wearing it. You know it's objectively good. Even if someone says they don't like diamonds, who cares? It doesn't touch you. You know diamonds are amazing. Everybody knows diamonds are amazing. You know how they impress people. There's no opinion that can devalue what you choose because you know what you choose is the best. Similarly, with the way you communicate. You choose to adopt the communication you know is effective. You know it works. You know what kind of effect it puts on people. You don't need them to approve that or disapprove. You just know it's best. You don't talk a certain way to get approval and wonder whether it worked. You just know it does. Therefore, we're not standing against the idea of striving towards perfection. We're standing against the common motive why. What's that you're acting this or that way for? It's important to have the right position, right perspective, the right attitude, being perfect for an assessment or being that for yourself so that you know that no matter what the man tells you, what he does, how he looks at you, it doesn't provoke any reactions in you. You don't need his assessment. You don't need his approval. And yet he still goes after you. And he will treat you the way you need, not because you're pleasing him, but because he wants to. And there at that point, you can go ahead and give him all the love and tenderness you have. Because if you choose to give it all to him when he doesn't need you, when he still wants to try other women, when he's in a position where he can compare you with other women, when you're reluctant to compete for his attention, compete for his approval, he will devalue the effort. He doesn't need the effort of a woman who he doesn't respect, doesn't value. It won't make any difference for him. Whether you try to please him or not, of course, he'll be happy you're around to grow his self-esteem, but that's it. Your function is mainly to make him feel good, make him comfortable. He doesn't need you objectively. You're serving a function when you have to please to keep a man. The opposite, or the pleasing position, once again, is a position where you're perfect in the sense of delivering certain results, in the sense of achieving the attitude you want, the act you want. And there, when he starts delivering the attitude you want from him, that's the point when you can please all you want to make him happy. There you can give him comfort in response to his loving and caring treatments. And at that point, he will be happy. He will want that from you. More than that, he will need it from you. The ideas we just went through are very important. They are more important than some of the techniques you're practicing on the program. This is an understanding of the attitude that sets the effective behavior intuitively. Meaning, if you do have a deep understanding of these concepts, if you keep them in your head, your behavior will corresponded by default. And it's not that techniques you're practicing on the program aren't important. No, it's just even if you learn the techniques and then start applying some of them on the man according to the same old logic in order to please, to show him how you can influence, how you grew up, and that you're a good girl, it's not going to work. It again is a little girl who wore her mom's high heels. This is still a position of a woman who expects, pleases, the woman who needs. And no matter what you say there or how you act, it's clear the true attitude is palpable in you. And he will treat you accordingly. He will say you're playing something you're not. Like you're a little mouse trying to catch a cat. The mouse can try and learn some techniques of hunting, then come to the cat and then try to apply it on the cat. What will the cat think? Yeah, you're a fun little cat trying to catch me. Let me play with you a bit more before I eat you. Understand? The inner attitude, the mental state of yours is the base, is the core that makes all the tactics you're learning effective. You mean it when you say it or do it. Therefore, work on the inner attitude, the position of a need, the expectation, the rush for approval is not a given. It's a bad habit it's totally fixable with some effort and time. Thousands of women have been through that. 10,000 of HUU women, our students, have succeeded in changing that, and applying the system became significant for the men they need. If they could do it, so can you. We're done for today. I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye.